There are so many things on this journey that fucked us over. Reprogramming consciously and subconsciously beliefs, ideas, thoughts, behaviors that we had to say goodbye to in order for be here today, having and enjoying the life as a business owner, as a female entrepreneur. But that wasn't the case always for us. That's why on this segment, every Monday, we are getting together with Lucy Bekker to bring to you the segment of the things that fucked us over. It's just a normal conversation between two female entrepreneurs that enjoy their businesses, that are thriving with their businesses, to share in a raw, real way what are the things that we had to overcome and how we did it and why we did it and what is the impact and results on your money mindset and your ability to grow your business. It's a very fun conversation, and I can wait for you to listen to this segment that we have for you. Hello and welcome to the Money Mindset Show, the place where we help female entrepreneurs to transform their mind so that they can achieve financial success in the least amount of time. Here, we talk about subconscious mind, we talk about money mindset shifts, money mindset blocks, a strategy so that you can bypass your own money mindset and increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business. On this podcast, our unique goal is for you to walk away with a different perspective and with a different set of thoughts, beliefs, and mindset that helps you in your journey to achieve financial success. Wait, before we start, I need you to know this. If you are part of those who are working harder and longer but still not seeing the profits you deserve and want, you can now download our bestseller Secret of High Earning Female CEOs. Download From Overwork to CEO now and unlock the breakthrough you've been waiting for. The best part, access is for free for a limited time. I don't get this mind because I also have worked and seen people saying like, well, you should be doing what the people in your industry is doing so you have a chance. We're both like, yeah, like, oh, should I? Right. I mean, I want to hear your opinion on this, and then I will give mine.
I don't know. I'm working very hard to build a personal brand, and get like right on the edge of leadership and like my deep opinions on love. And like TikTok's crazy for this. Like watching relationships and like adding laugh tracks. So like, oh my God, my husband's so useless. Or like, oh my God, this, and oh my God, that. And this is where it started feeling so heavy. And I'm like, I can't
Right.
it. And like, I refuse to create content that like makes a mockery of both my husband and relationships as a whole, because that's not what I fundamentally believe. Like, I believe that like with the right person and with the right communication, like relationships are so fucking beautiful. And I was whinging to my friend about this because people are like, oh, well, you're so lucky to have like a happy and loving relationship. I'm like, that is the definition of a relationship. To have a happy, loving relationship. Is that not the fucking bare minimum of being in a romantic relationship? Oh, you're so lucky. And I'm like, that's the definition. Like, you're not in a romantic relationship if it's not happy and loving. Like, fucking do. Anyway, so like, I get really worked up about it. And this is where I start to be like, oh my God, I have to start working with people sooner than marriage, because like you have to have high.
Right.
But anyway, that's a very long way of saying that like my position on like industry, personal branding, all of that. I think it was Denise Duffield Thomas also talking a lot about money and like business.
Yeah.
The most freeing thing you can do is just allow yourself to be part of the conversation. You don't have to be the guru. You don't have to fix the fucking world. you're just contributing to the conversation. So that's where I'm at the moment, in terms of doing what the industry is doing, but like watching, because there's so much content on like problem awareness. Like that's what reels are doing really well. And so I'm trying really hard not to fall into like, this is the problem, as opposed to like, this is what I deeply, truly believe. This is what my life looks like. This is what I'm embodying currently. Come with me, because it's fucking amazing. Right. So that's more, it's more like believing that what I have is amazing, and like the life that I am building with the beliefs that I have is amazing. Come with me. That's how I stand currently.
I think that's so, first, beautiful, but second, protective of yourself, like for your own energy as well, because you can get in this role of comparison and this seeing the different like views and everything that happens in social media. But being part of the conversation, it's not only important for your business but also for yourself. Like we are the creators of our businesses. So if we are like absorbing that information all the time, and we are not creating and not being part of that conversation, what do you think is your business is going to look like? It's going to look like a copy of the other ones, because that's what we do. We mirror things if we don't process them, right? So I love that, but also I think it is important to, and I think I posted today on my stories, social media is just a part of your business. It's not everything. It's not showing like what you say, this mock-up or things. I see it all the time with money. Like, just like you got worked out with people saying the definitions of romantic relationship, in this same conference, I was doing the same. I was being part of the conversation. I was seeing what is happening. But then I found a very popular app right now that is for like financial literacy, but you get roasted. Like literally you get punished by the financial behavior that you have. And I'm seeing this and it's so trending, especially on TikTok. Because people is making fun of it. And I'm here sitting like, okay, that's fine, but that's not going to help you with a business. If you continue roasting yourself for each Amazon purchase that you do, and you don't understand the root of it, you don't understand your financial trauma that is taking you there, what do you think your business is going to do? I mean, it's just like, why are these tools so popular and happening? Well, the reason why is because people doesn't know about financial trauma. People doesn't know how it can affect. So what is my job as a business? Becoming you, like helping you to be aware of these things. So just like you right now, I'm taking the position, I'm going to show you objectively what this is. How this, you can identify this on your journey, what happens, and I'm going to guide you through it. But this mocking and saying, I don't know, I found out today that my wife has spent my whole credit card in buying Amazon, so she gets roasted and shame and all that. I'm like, they're really so fucking awkward.
Yeah, just God, there's so much of it, and like this is and I mean it's the industry that we're in, right? Like you have to follow trends to a certain extent, but like I talked about this with Carl, I was like, I will never use you as a mockery. for content. Like, and it's so funny because I'm a relationship coach and I like barely use him in my content because he just doesn't enjoy being part of it. Like he doesn't he doesn't want me to like film our whole life and like put it up on the internet. And so I'm never going to like use him in that way. Yeah, and like this is a complete aside, but like people using their kids in content and stuff, and like we'll never ever ever do anything like that. So, and it's just the industry that we're in. Like it's just you have to follow trends and you have to do all these things. There's a few things where I'm just like I'm not following that. I'm just going to keep talking about like my own point of view, and that's what leaders do. So
because we have to follow trends as like certain extent for your social media, but again, it's just a part of your business. But I get the sense, and I don't know if you also have this, but I get the sense that people, it's building themselves and building their businesses from the perspective that it needs to look certain way for social media. It is not like it needs to feel good to me. I don't have to have this relationship that feels good to me. I need to have the relationship that I can post, where I don't have to build the business for me. I don't have to build the business around. I have to have the business that is going to get the followers and the trends, right? This is the sense that I got, not thank God, not from any of my clients. Not also is just because the people that I do a filter before I work with them. The people that I feel is that I cannot help, so I reject. So I never worked with anybody that way. But I know people that do this, that have this core belief. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh, so many feelings. So many feelings. I don't know. It's kind of hard because really, like, we do like money and we do like earning money. So really, like, I'm working with coaches that get both. Like, I'm currently in a program. It's like high impact, high income. So like very much like we're only doing things that feel good to us.
Yeah.
And then we're charging a lot of money for it. So like I definitely think there can be both, but you have to really push yourself in your personal branding because that's what people are going to remember. And like I was just talking about this, that saying like people are going to remember how you make them feel. They're not going to remember exactly what you say. Some people do though. It's kind of crazy. Like
I do that.
It's kind of crazy what people do remember. And you can feel like you're talking to the void, and like nobody responds. And then I'll see people in person. They're like, oh, you said this one thing and that like changed my whole perspective. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even remember saying it. Like I don't. So I think like the personal branding, like, and like people can feel when you're not excited. People can feel when you're just doing it for money. But I definitely think you can do both. And so, like especially just being in this program, like it is more important that you are being extremely real with yourself about like what you believe. I think it's more important.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be exclusive. In fact, if it is exclusive, you're not going to get anywhere. Because if you're doing for the money, you break down on your purpose. And if you're doing just for the purpose, then at some point you have to close doors because there is no profitability in there. So it has to be both. But we have been taught somehow that doing it for the money, it's a bad conversation when you're trying to do it for your purpose or when you are trying to do like what feels good to you. It's just like it is bad programming that we have gotten from God knows where, that it says that the money is bad. The money is like thinking about the money is not important. Like it's gonna show up. Yes, it's gonna show up. I fucking know it's gonna show up. But if you don't set your prices and if you don't set your price correctly, if you don't set your profit, if you don't set your cost, how is it gonna show up? Like, what is going to show up? That is the main question. I don't doubt that money follows. My question is, what type of money? How much do you want to follow? Because if you let it up to the universe to solve for you, you send a lot of mixed messages to the universe every single time. So it's like, okay, like the universe is trying to hear you, but it's having a hard time because there is not a structure to it. So I love that program, and you need to tell me the details later on because I'm curious about it. But yeah, I think that's a really beautiful way to put it: impact and profit.
Yeah, she's just amazing. She's making all sorts of cash. It's amazing. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but I think like just a final thought on that, like even if we take manifestation out of the equation, what started driving all of this was like watching other people succeeding in businesses. Like there's so much money in the world and it's just like, why can't you have a piece of that pie too?
Exactly.
Like, why can't we all just get a piece of that? Like, fucking do it.
Now I tell you that on that question, there is a lot of people that has been programmed to believe that they cannot have it, and there is no reason why. So if you are in that position, it is time that you work on your money mindset, because the question, rightfully so, is the question that you need to ask yourself to open up. If there is an institution literally printing money, I remember walking into Washington, D.C. the first time before living there. And there is a whole building that occupies 2 streets. Like it's a huge building, and it says, "We print money." That moment, and that was back in 2012. That moment, I knew, okay, this is going to change the bit, because there is a reason why they have it there. There is a reason. I mean, don't think that they just have it there just to be cool and say, "Hey, we print money." No, it's really, people needs to know that there is an institution that prints money. And of course, there are different economic dynamics and all these things that play out. But at the end of the day, money is being printed every single second. As we speak, money is being printed. And not even printed anymore, transfer, digital. Like you don't have to even wait for the printer to get the bill out. I mean, it's digital. So why you are preventing yourself to ask the question, why can I don't have that from that pie too? Like, why are you excluding yourself from it? I really like that.
Yeah.
And that really, the last topic I want to dive in for today. Again, this is a segment that we are gonna do every Monday, because I just love this energy. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to tell us what you got from all of these episodes. Of course, we are sitting down one time and doing a whole like a segment, a big segment, but you're gonna hear from different, I think 4 episodes. I don't know. We are figuring out on the way, right? So you're gonna hear little episodes from this segment, but I want to close down today. I think it's good. We're stepping into the feminine energy, because you are the master on that, and yeah, exactly. And I have a hot take on this that I want to transmit that today. So what is it really? Let's just start diving into that.
It's so funny that you think I'm like, oh, you're like so good at feminine energy. And I'm like, I so don't call it that. Like, I don't, like, it's so funny that I'm like accidentally been associated with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here for vibes. Like, that's all that I'm here for. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like what you can see like in my content, it's definitely like I started slowing down. I started to really connect with my body and like my monthly cycle. And I don't connect with it like super deeply. But it kind of started because, well, it started because we wanted like more sex basically. And like connecting into myself and like having really slow mornings and like dancing. I would do all these things and like move and like kind of clear out like my chakra and all the stuff. And then Carl would come home and he's like, "What have you been doing? Like I can feel your energy from across the room. Like I can feel you." And so that's how it kind of started me kind of reconnecting in with all these fun things. Like I don't consider myself especially like woo-woo at the moment, but it's like these tangible things like I'm going to let myself sleep in. I'm going to wear really nice clothes. I'm going to put time into myself and like obviously really connected in with like work-life balance. And really it started because we're like, wow, okay, so you get 4,000 weeks, like most adults are alive for 4,000 weeks. We've lived about half of those, like have sex once a week. Like we're only going to have sex like 2,000 more times if we're only going to have sex once a week. Like that's not enough. Like
that's not what we want.
So that's kind of where it all started. And then like I've got like a whole list of like very tangible things that I do that make life just so much more fun. Not just sex, but like life in general, just like so much more fun. But I'd love to hear your hot take before I kind of dive into that. I'll be here.
Yes. Wait. So first of all, that energy comes across the room in all of your socials. I love it. I'm here for it. And actually, seeing you doing that also inspires me to move more. The thing that I love the most is to be naked on my home. Whenever I'm not working, I am naked on my whole house. That is so freeing and liberating, right? You know what I do? I enter to I have a big mirror and I start dancing salsa all the time. And then it's just like, it's feeling your body and it's just like seeing your hips. Like yesterday, I was doing this just for the giggles again, because when salsa plays, it's my fueling. And I was seeing how my hips move, how like, it's just like so amazing to see how wealthy we are by just feeling the movement and the energy. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is the energy I want to feel all the time. So for me, it's not about sex. Like, I mean, I'm a Latina. I'm like, sex is quite high on the list. So it's not like, okay, it's quite high. But for me, it's more about being comfortable with myself. It's more about, am I in my body? Because with the work that we do here, like the work that I do with emotional triggers and clearing people out in their mind, I can get a lot in my head. I can get a lot in other people's perspective and forget about my own self and forget about that energy that feels sexy, that feels like attractive. I think that's a huge part of my business. I created, and if you haven't downloaded, I strongly recommend you that are listening to download the From Overwork to CEO with Money. It's a step-by-step guide that I did with this energy. And I can hear the energy on this guide because it's an audio. I hear and feel all the sexiness and attraction of money only after this session of taking care of myself, of feeling myself, of seeing it's fucking sexy to talk about money. it's so exciting to know how pleasurable it is to see yourself doing these steps, because I know where I'm gonna get. It's just a whole different perspective. And yeah, it's a little bit taboo to talk about it still talk about money and talk about being sexy and allowing yourself to be feminine when you are in business. It's not a thing that we do.
I don't know. It's so funny because it sounds so simple. Like, oh, slow down. Don't be in your head. Don't do all this. I'm like, it's literally like a fucking superpower when you start doing it. Because like, I'm not super into like meditation. Like, I don't really like clearing my head. I'm like, when I do meditation, people are like, oh, clear your head. I'm like, but my subconscious has some shit to say. Like, my subconscious is really smart. So I'm like, why would I try and clear my head out completely? Anyway. But it's a fucking superpower. Like I said, like when I do this stuff, like if I'm listening to like, I call it like our date night playlist. So it's like very R&B, very like vibey. I'll just listen to it all the time. I'll just like listen to it while I'm driving. And then when I arrive where I'm going, people are like, oh, like you're on, I can feel you. Like you've got so much energy. And
Right.
like, I'm just feeling myself. Like I don't like I'm not doing anything. Yeah. It's like a superpower. It's amazing. And like you're missing out if you're not tapping into that. And I think something that really like flipped a switch for me is when I started going to like these like it's like sexy hip hop, like you've probably seen it on my stories. And it was songs like Pussycat Dolls from when I was like I don't know, like maybe 9 or 10, you know.
9, yeah, me too.
Well, like you don't really get it, like you know, Christina Aguilera, like all of that. And so like reclaiming those songs, because I remember back in the day, and people like Nelly Furtado was just like, oh yeah, just like she's so sexual, and like listening to those songs from back then and like reclaiming those has been fucking massive for me.
Yes,
and then like, oh my gosh, like. It's so much fun and it's like so good, and like I get it, like I can feel it now and I get to enjoy it instead of like in like, oh, I can't listen to this because I'm like, and now I'm like listening to songs about sex while I'm driving and like
yeah, but you know that is completely true. Like back then Nelly Furtado was like, yes, such a slut, or Fergie, or the Pussycat Dolls. Yeah, the Pussycat Dolls were definitely out of line. Madonna, of course. It's just like, yeah.
And then when you think about it, like, and so you think about people like Cardi B now, and everyone's like, oh, it's so fun and it's so empowering, and like, so that's super fun. But yeah, like, so going back and reclaiming those songs that I wasn't allowed to listen to was like, a shift for me. Yeah. Like really.
Yes. And I would do that for myself. I can see that because I never have, it never occurred to me that that's the programming that I have for those songs too. Because I remember one day listening to the Pussycat Dolls. I didn't even know how to speak English at that moment. That was the only song that I knew in English. I was like, didn't you wish your girlfriend was like all that one? And then my brother knew English at the time, and he goes like, don't you ever sing that song again. It's whole sluts and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. So I never really revisit them.
Secretly, you just want to be Nicole Scherzinger because she's fucking hot. Like, she's so good. He doesn't want to be like, you know, hair.
Yeah. And I remember having, this was again back when I had like 9 or 10 years old. I had a friend that really liked her, like the Pussycat Doll. And it really looked like a long black hair. She was like the standard beauty goddess, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, she was like, okay, I will listen to these songs, and she will dance in the middle of the classroom and with the hair, and everybody was like, and I'm just, now it just hit me. I'm like, this is so interesting, because I never talk about it. She was talking about it, sex and sexiness. It was not even sex. It was like how sexy it was to feel that she was sexy, basically. It was like, for her, it was a feeling. And she all the time would talk about that. And now I see her, and we're still friends. I'm like, I can see really her mindset perspective, and I can see why I would get so like, yeah, like, it's still some parts of me are like, oh, let's talk about sex. Even though that we, yeah, even though that we all like it, even though that it's part of life, it's normal, it's human, it's like, I still get like, but it's the same with money. Like, it's taboo, and like, we just need to talk about it. We just need to do more of it. Like, I guess if the world did more of that, it wouldn't be such a bad world. Like, we always have a lot more.
Where we basically we almost started like daring people to be like, oh, you're going to get uncomfortable before we do. Like, and we'd like, trick people into talking about, like, yeah, go on, like, say it, like, make us uncomfortable.
Right.
That was built from there, yeah. So
it's so funny. Here at the co-working where I work, they do like Friday drinks, and there is one person that is so fucking comfortable talking about sex. Like, this person is like poker face, like, yeah, it's just part of life. And then she throws the topic out there for all the table to listen. And she knows, like, I'm like, I don't know, I'm talking. And so she goes and stirs up my eyes and really start talking about it. And now, thanks to that, I am channeling way more easy my energy into the business and into the creations. And it feels so fucking good. It feels like, it's just like, oh, this is who I am. This is like, I can be this as well without any mind going on into it.
And if you think about that, like her talking like that, and then you talking like that, because you're now going to give people permission to think like that,
right?
Like, you have to go first, especially if you're leading a community of people. Like, they need you to go first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're going to feel it, and people are going to feel that energy in you, and it's going to be fucking amazing. So, and people do feel that. And they say, like, oh yeah, I can like see it in your content. I'm like, thank you. Yes, like, I try so hard.
Yeah. Like, I try so hard dancing. No, it's true.
Yeah.
And also, guys, Lucy is a great dancer. Like, I have always followed her on her competitions and stuff. I'm like, you are. I'm very happy that you went to Colombia, because now you really know. Like, this is like, we know the standards of dancing.
Oh yeah. Next time we can talk all about how I, quit all this stuff and went to South America instead. Like,
let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. In the next segment, we're gonna talk about that, and I can tell you a lot more on how I quit everything and went to New Zealand.
So keep listening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but before I let you go, did you know that you have a space where your money mindset work is made extra simple so that you can increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business in such a simple and easy way? Go to themoneymindset.hub.com and choose your path and start making those changes easily and effortlessly. That is themoneymindset.hub.com. Ahora sí, wealthy soul, if you love this episode, don't forget to leave a review down below. It will help me to help more wealthy souls to transfer their money mindset.